For all of human history, we looked up at the stars and felt a profound sense of loneliness. We were a single, tiny spark of life in a vast, silent cosmos. We sent our own messages out, like notes in a bottle tossed into a cosmic ocean. We listened with giant radio telescopes, ears pointed to the heavens, hoping to hear something, anything back. But the universe remained quiet. It seemed we were alone. This belief shaped our world, our science, and our dreams. We were the only ones asking the big questions. We were the only ones to marvel at the beauty of a sunrise or the complexity of a single cell. This solitude made us feel special, but also very small in the grand scheme of things. Then, on a quiet Tuesday in 2049, everything changed. Deep within the Arecibo Observatory, nestled in the green hills of Puerto Rico, a young astrophysicist named Dr. Ethan Carter was running a routine diagnostic. He was analyzing background noise, the faint hiss of the universe left over from the Big Bang. He wasn't looking for aliens, he was just doing his job. But on his screen, a pattern began to emerge. It was not random static. It was structured. It was complex. It was a signal, repeating with perfect mathematical precision, a whisper that had been traveling through the void for thousands of years, waiting for someone to listen. This was not the loud, clear hello humanity had always expected. It was faint, ancient, and buried under layers of cosmic dust and radiation. Dr. Carter checked his equipment, then checked it again. He ran every test he could think of, trying to prove it was a malfunction or a natural phenomenon, like a pulsar. But the signal held firm. It was a complex series of pulses, a language written in the mathematics of the universe itself. After triple-checking his data, with his heart pounding against his ribs, he made the call. He alerted his colleagues, and soon, the world. The lonely silence of the cosmos had finally been broken. The news spread like wildfire across the globe. We were not alone. The confirmation of an intelligent extraterrestrial signal sparked a global celebration. People danced in the streets from Tokyo to Times Square. For a brief moment, all our earthly conflicts seemed small and insignificant. We were united not as nations, but as a single species, looking up at the sky with newfound wonder. Everyone wanted to know what the message said. Who were they? Where did they come from? What did they want to tell us? The pressure on scientists like Dr. Carter was immense. Humanity was holding its collective breath, waiting for an answer from the stars. Decoding the signal became the single greatest scientific endeavor in human history. Teams of linguists, mathematicians, and computer scientists from every corner of the world worked together. The alien language was not based on sound, but on fundamental principles of physics and chemistry. It was a universal Rosetta Stone. As they began to translate the message, the initial excitement slowly turned into a deep and unsettling mystery. The message was not a greeting. It was a warning. It spoke of a civilization that had risen to incredible technological heights, a society that had mastered energy and reshaped its own world. The message contained a star map, and at its center was a red dwarf star in a nearby nebula. But it also contained a date, a timestamp that showed the message had been sent over 50,000 years ago. This meant the civilization that sent it was ancient, far older than our own. The message was a final testament, a last will of a people long gone. It warned of a great filter, a challenge that all intelligent species must face. It spoke of a technology they had created, a source of limitless clean energy. This technology had promised them a utopia, a world without want or suffering, a golden age that they believed would last forever. The warning was chillingly simple. Their greatest achievement became their undoing. Their boundless energy source had unintended consequences. It slowly, subtly altered their planet's core, destabilizing its magnetic field and atmosphere. They became so dependent on their technology, so consumed by its convenience, that they ignored the warning signs until it was too late. The message was a desperate plea sent out into the darkness of space. It was a warning to any young civilization that might find it. It told us to be careful, to be wise, and to understand the true cost of progress before we paid the ultimate price for our own discoveries. The world was stunned. We had found our cosmic neighbors, only to learn they were long dead. Their message was a ghost story from the stars. the excitement gave way to a somber debate. Was this our future? Were we walking the same path? Some dismissed it as a hoax or a misinterpretation. Others saw it as a prophecy, a glimpse into our own potential doom. Governments and scientific bodies knew they could not ignore it. We had to know for sure. We had to see the world that had sent this dire warning. The decision was made to embark on the most ambitious journey humanity had ever undertaken. The mission was named Odyssey 9. It was a marvel of human engineering, our first true interstellar probe, built in a fraction of the time it would have normally taken. Its destination was the planet from the star map, a world now known as the Echo. The journey would take decades, but it was a journey we had to make. Odyssey 9 was our messenger, our eyes, sent across the vastness of space to witness the truth behind the alien warning. The world watched as the powerful rocket lifted off, carrying the hopes and fears of all humanity on its metal shoulders. It was a silent pilgrimage to the grave of a sister civilization. When Odyssey 9 finally arrived at the Echo, the images it sent back were heartbreaking. The planet was a ruin. Its surface was scarred and blackened. Its oceans boiled away into a toxic, swirling atmosphere. The probe's cameras showed the ghostly outlines of what were once magnificent cities. These were not ruins from war or natural disaster. They were the skeletons of a world that had consumed itself from the inside out. The structures had crumbled, melted by intense heat and radiation that had bled from the planet's unstable core. It was a silent, desolate monument to a civilization that had reached for the stars and fallen. The most powerful discovery came from the planet's surface. Odyssey 9's lander found a final monument, a crystalline data archive protected from the harsh environment. Inside was the last message from the alien leader. It was not words, but a series of vivid images, a visual story meant for any intelligent eyes to understand. It showed a vibrant world, full of life and beauty. It showed their discovery of a glowing energy source and the utopia it created. Cities of light, effortless transportation, a world without hunger or labor. It was everything we had ever dreamed of achieving. Then, the images turned dark. They showed the planet's magnetic field weakening, the skies turning a sickly color, and the ground shaking violently. The visuals showed the aliens' panic, their desperate, failed attempts to reverse the process. The final image was of the alien leader, a tall, graceful being, looking directly at the viewer. Their expression was not one of anger or despair, but of profound sadness and regret. It was the face of a parent warning a child not to make the same mistake. The message was clear. Their power had blinded them to their own fragility. They had destroyed paradise. The images from the Echo and the leader's final testament shook humanity to its core. There was no longer any room for doubt. The warning was real. The ghost story had a face. We saw in their downfall a reflection of our own world. We saw our own reliance on fossil fuels, our own changing climate, and our own hunger for more and more energy, regardless of the consequences. The alien story was not just a warning, it was a mirror. The reactions were mixed. Some fell into despair, believing our fate was sealed. Others called for radical, immediate change, demanding that we abandon our dangerous technologies. But slowly, a new consciousness began to emerge. The warning from 50,000 years ago became a catalyst for the greatest transformation in human history. We did not abandon technology. Instead, we began to use it with wisdom. The global community came together, pooling resources and knowledge to develop truly sustainable energy. We invested in science that focused not just on power, but on balance. We started to see our planet not as a resource to be exploited, but as a fragile, interconnected system, our only home in the vastness of space. The Echo became a symbol, a constant reminder of the high stakes. The changes were not easy. It required sacrifice and a fundamental shift in our values. We moved away from a culture of endless consumption and toward a culture of preservation and respect for our world. We began to think in terms of generations, not just election cycles or quarterly profits. We started to act as a unified species, guardians of our own small blue world. The signal from 2049, A message from a dead civilization had paradoxically given humanity a new life, a second chance to get it right. It was the most important lesson we had ever learned. The cosmos is full of lessons, written in the light of dying stars and the silence between galaxies. We were lucky enough to receive one, delivered across time and space. We were given a glimpse of a possible future, a road we must not take. We have started to change our course, guided by the tragic wisdom of a civilization we will never know. Their story has become our story. Their warning has become our hope. The question that remains, the question we must ask ourselves every single day, is a simple one. Will we continue to listen?